Hey guys, welcome back so soon, and welcome to another episode of Mike's Indie Corner. In this episode, we are talking about a little game called Sunset.
I don't know if he's a hero or a fool. Free from suspicion, this apartment seems removed from it all, known only to Gabrielle and me. It's a hidden place where I can pretend for a little while none of this is happening. Come back home.
Now this one is very, very interesting. I really, really like this one. This one, again, it's kind of like, I realize, especially with indie games, I kind of seem to lean towards the games that you can't really, that are much more story-focused than gameplay-focused, I've noticed. Although I guess I did recommend Apotheon, so it's not too heavily leaned in that category. Oops, sorry, I just got a text. But this game is very interesting. Not only because the gameplay itself is so minimalistic, but just in the story and the atmosphere and the characters it portrays and the environment and situation it places you in. What this game is basically about is you play a American immigrant into a fictional country, to which the name I forget. But your job is you never see the owner of his apartment through the entire game. You never see him. But your job is to come in for 1 hour a day and do a certain list of tasks that he gives you on Post-it notes before you get in there. But as you're doing that, a civil war, it turns out that the country you're in recently got taken over by a military general, and a civil war has just begun to spring out. And you're in this high-rise penthouse apartment. So you just keep doing these mundane tasks. You can explore the apartment. You can communicate with the owner of the apartment by these little Post-it cards he'll leave for you and stuff like that. You can choose how to respond. You can choose either a neutral response or more romantic response. I chose the romantic response because I just felt like that'd be a little more interesting. And I still think I think it was. I think I was right. But even then, every task you're given, you're kind of choose how you want to do it. Do you want to do it that just makes you just as the maid, or do you want to add your own little personality to it? And again, that kind of adds a nice little character to it. But anyway, as the game progresses, the civil war outside the apartment gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and there's this great feeling of almost isolation and safety in this apartment, because every trip to the apartment comes with a new narration from the main character. You can sit in this lounge chair and she writes in her diary, and all that fun stuff, and all that stuff that gets you in the mind of this character, into this world you're in. It's all very well written. Some of it's a little bit pretentious, a little bit up its own ass, but at the same time, through the context of the main character, it makes sense. So it's forgivable. Some of the writing's a little bit of its own ass, but it's forgivable. It's passable. It's okay. It's not that big of a deal. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, but there are times, especially as the game goes on, and you find yourself getting more involuntarily involved with the Civil War through reasons I won't give away, because you should absolutely play this game. It's absolutely worth your time and money. But you'll just hear the sounds of the war outside your window. You'll see and it starts out slowly at first. Occasionally you hear just an explosion, and you either go, "Oh, what was that?" Or I think the first thing that happens is a window just shatters, and this is a little while into the game too. This is a slow burn game. It doesn't immediately jump into this. It weans you into it. So when it gets more violent, gets more aggressive, it's that much more impactful, because all of a sudden the safety of the environment you're in is suddenly taken from you, and you realize you're not safe there. And it's very powerful and very effective use of interactive gaming. This is the kind of shit I love about indie games, and I realized it can only be done through indie games, because there's no way any major company can invest in a tiny little game like this and get this kind of message across. Because really, there's not much gameplay here. You walk around an apartment, you click some buttons, you do some tasks, and then you leave and you come back the next day. That's it. That's the game. But what makes it a powerful, interesting experience is when you pay attention to the environment around you, is when you kind of immerse yourself in the world. You get involved in its politics, and you learn about your own character's perspective on it, as well as the person you're cleaning for, and just the state of the nation in general. There's a lot of highs and lows, and the end in the game is not quite sure, and it's really up to you. I mean, of course, it always says like choose your own ending kind of thing. I chose the happy ending because I'm that kind of guy. But it's just very, very interesting, and it is quite an emotional experience. Like, this is a game I highly recommend. I mean, it's not perfect. It's not perfect. Let me be clear on that. It is not a perfect game. There are flaws with it, namely in just the structure of the game itself, in that you can only go in there for an hour at a time. But the problem is the hour is not in real time. They speed it up, so it's like only a half hour max. Even shorter if you choose to write in your diary in the lounge chair. Which is fine. I get they don't want you to waste so much time on any particular section, but at the same time, I'm a completionist. So it's like, if I'm gonna, or at least I like to explore shit. So if you give me an environment, tell me that changes every time I'm there, I'm gonna want to look at every single thing every time I'm there. That's just the kind of person I am. Thankfully, the game deliberately blocks some section off, depending on the day, just so you don't obsessively look over everything every fucking time. But at the same time, the game doesn't give you enough time to do all the things you can do in a single day. There's a very easy exploit you can do to get around this. Like, if you just shut the game off, start up again, it'll come back to that same day, starting over from scratch, but all the tasks you've already done are still done. You don't have to do them again. So you can just go around and explore. Problem is, though, it's like, I don't know if that was intentional, and I don't know if that's something they'll fix later on, so that could be gone by the time I release this video. But at the same time, I want to explore this place. I want to get immersed in this world I'm in, and I want to learn more about the person I'm cleaning for, and I want to learn about my own character. I want to do all that stuff, but the game doesn't give you enough time to do that, and you can miss some good stuff. You can miss some of the little post-it notes he puts up. You can miss some character-defined moments. You can miss little diary entries you can make. You can miss all that shit because the game just doesn't give you enough time to do it. I will definitely admit, like, that is one of my biggest pet peeves in games, is games with time limits that aren't like racing or puzzle games, something like that. Like, that's why I always have a tough time. That's why I can never get into the first Pikmin, is because I feel rushed. Or Dead Rising. Dead Rising is another good example of this. Like, don't rush me. I want to explore. Don't inhibit what I can do. Just let me do what I want. Let me explore everything I want to, and then I'll get onto the story when I feel like it. I hate games that rush me along and just kind of push me along. It's okay, you're dilly-dally too long. It's like, no, fuck you. I'm gonna sit here and look at this fucking book as long as I want to. Oh, something just finished downloading. Oh, cool, I got the Gears of War Ultimate Edition beta. Woohoo. Okay, anywho. Sorry, my Xbox is right next to the camera. But yeah, I really love this for the experience. I really love that it's a very unique topic for gaming, and one that is not done very often. That's a big thing. Like, this is a very unique perspective, one that is not told at all in video games, at least none that I can think of off the top of my head.
There was another explosion last week. You can feel the depression in this place. It feels like everyone in the city is grinding their teeth as hard as they can. Would Gabrielle even notice if I stopped coming? In the middle of a civil war, why is this the thought that haunts me? The man has this job. He brings home encrypted papers and signs them without even reading them. I stood there with my heart pounding and my face burning. I knew my brother and his revolutionary friends needed to know about this. I don't think Gabriel left those papers out by accident. I don't know if he's a hero or a fool. Free from suspicion, this apartment seems removed from it all. Known only to Gabrielle and me. It's a hidden place where I can pretend for a little while none of this is happening.
And that enhances the experience a little bit, because you get that sense of isolation, and you feel that that safety net that the apartment provides. So whenever that safety net is cut or is taken away from you because of events from the outside, it's scary, and it leaves an impact. So just for a game that can get that kind of emotion across, I can get that kind of idea across, and for just the ambition and the talent to actually convey that message, definitely makes this game worth checking out. I've read a few descriptions of this that paints this game with much more flowery language and heavy metaphors that, quite frankly, I'm not good enough to do. But I definitely could say this game is definitely worth your time and money if this is the kind of experience you're into. Like, if this is the kind of game you want. If you're more of an action guy, you need a lot of shit, you need a lot of different gameplay mechanics, this is not the game for you. This is the game for people who are like me, who like story-driven content, who like the idea of beauty and simplicity, is what I would call it, because it's one of those games, like I kind of said this Gone Home, where it does very much by doing very little. Because it can convey a scary sensation through a sound, or just an image, or even a fucking post-it note. It conveys a powerful emotion, or it makes you feel the feels. So if that's a game that sounds interesting to you, that's a game you want to check out. I mean, the Steam sale is going on right now, or at least at the time I'm recording this. You can probably get this game for really cheap, and you definitely should. It's very much worth checking out. So I would give this game a 9 out of 10. 10 because the gameplay gimmick really does make it annoying at times, because I have to constantly reset the game so I can see everything else that was in there. But otherwise, you should absolutely check this game out. Support this company. This is the company that's worth supporting. If they can do this kind of stuff now, I can't wait to see what they do later. So check them out, support them, and give them your money. And yeah, that one is more of a filler video. This one is more of a filler video before I get to my next Patreon request from my most generous patron, Bailey Tice, for the video game I Am Bread. Which I can't wait for that one. And after that, I think I got Costume Quest. I might do Music Machine first, but we'll see what happens. So thank you all for watching, guys. Hope that gave you a good game to check out on your own time, and I'll see you all in the next episode of Mike's Indie Corner.